Hello, seasoners. Welcome back to yet another episode of the Travel and Tourism Podcast, my first season. My guest spent 2 seasons with Club Med, beginning in November 1993 as a Snorkel G.O in Club Med Eleuthera. She later continued on to Playa Blanca, but this time she served as a Scuba G.O. A graduate of the University of California, Santa Barbara with a degree in commerce, she went on to work in international business and even lived in Mexico City for a time. Please join me in welcoming all the way from California, Ehlers Siebert. Hey, Laura, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me here.
Oh,
thank you.
Thanks for being here. And just so I have a record of it, can you just quickly tell people how you found out about the podcast? Because I never hear these stories.
Yes, absolutely. Real quick, I work as a substitute teacher, and we were talking about setting goals. Well, the example that I gave was my process of working as a scuba and a Snorkel G.O with Club Med and what I had to do to make that happen. But I went home and I Googled what happened to Eleuthera. I really hadn't looked into it. And sure enough, what came up were a couple of YouTubes about Eleuthera, and then was your a podcast. My first season came up, and so that's how I became aware of this of your podcast.
Now, was it because I used the hashtag Club Med Eleuthera? Because I always thought hashtags never worked. Okay, so is that what did it? I guess
it must have been.
Okay.
Yes. To be honest, I just then I started listening to everybody and looking who was on there. It was really exciting to see that. But Eleuthera must have been the connection there.
Okay, great. All right. So why don't you take me back a little bit? You know how we do here on the show. Were you a GM from the time you were a kid? Did you see an ad somewhere? How'd you find out about Club Med?
I was never a GM, and I am thinking that I had to have seen an ad, Greg. That's a piece that's missing. Somehow I connected to Club Med. It must have been an ad, but I had never been a guest. No, never traveled internationally, even through high school, college. So it just seemed like something so interesting to do. Yeah.
Okay, so you wanted to travel after you got your degree. You love scuba diving. You worked your way up to dive master rank, all the while working as in a construction company for accounting software sales company, right? In Los Angeles?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay. Then somehow you applied to Club Med. Do you recall how you applied? Did someone tell you, or was there like a 1-800 number?
Yes.
Okay. It's fuzzy, right? Yeah.
It's interesting. Okay. We're going back over 30 years. Right. So and back how we applied for jobs. I must have written in. I think I probably called or got a hold of a contact number and then tried to see when the next interview would be.
Yeah, and you get your interview. You're interviewed by Steve-O, the legendary figure in Club Med. And unlike me, no one gave you the memo. You showed up in business dress, which I was told strictly not to do. But you did, and you still got the job. How did you pull that off?
What was unique for me, I guess, is yes, I showed up in a business dress, and we had some time to talk. We were in like a hotel. I think we were in some type of hotel banquet room type of area. And just by nature, I was talking with everybody in there. I enjoy talking with people, finding about everybody's story. And by the time I came up to my turn, Steve-O just said, "Hey, you've been talking to everybody here. You've got the job." And so that was nice. He asked me a couple questions. I talked about my dive history, what my qualifications were. That's at that time. He said you could start as a Snorkel G.O and then work into a diving position later on.
Where were you getting your courses from?
The scuba courses were in Los Angeles. I lived in Santa Monica. I was taking all of those courses while I was working, doing some diving out at Catalina Island. And actually got to do a little cameo with MTV teaching Pauly Shore how to scuba dive before I went to.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Okay. We did. That was the beginning of kind of a reality TV. Nobody had really seen this, and Pauly Shore got in contact with our dive shop. So I do have video footage of that. That
really?
Was,
okay.
Yeah. Interesting. Cool.
About how long after you leave your interview, like, are you waiting? I mean, I know he told you immediately, but how long did it take to get your plane tickets to Eleuthera?
I want to say, because I had to close out work too, probably about maybe a month. I know I had to just, close out work. I was working full time, so I had to have time to do that. So probably, I think I got the phone call within a week, and I apologize for not having all the specifics down
Oh
on
no,
that.
no,
But
that's okay.
I knew.
I have a ton of other questions for you, like specifically, like because you were not only Snorkel G.O, you were Picnic
Right,
G.O. So when I had to do
right.
Picnic, I learned from the great Tim Wilcox, who learned from Aranio. You had never done an adult picnic before, probably didn't know
No,
what the heck to do, right? So how did someone teach you when you got there, or no, or you just made it up?
I just improvised for the most part because Ye was our chef de village. Just it's a wonderful person to work with. But he gave me some advice of what that was. We're the family club, so it
and
was
and
more
and what
toned
not
down.
and what not to do,
Not
correct?
to do.
Yes, got it. Okay, not that you were going to, but just in case, what not to
Right,
do. So
right. So oh, go ahead.
what do you remember about arriving to Eleuthera? Did you fly first class like me, or did you have a itinerary from hell? Like did they bounce you around every airport from the west coast to the east coast to get to Eleuthera? Do you remember any of that?
that. It seemed like very simple, direct flight into
What?
Florida.
Okay, now
Yes.
this
Sorry.
irks me. I'm really irked now. Okay, please continue.
Direct flight into Florida. I mean, those are paper ticket times too. I know. And then I don't think I was in there very long. We had to take the puddle jumper over to Eleuthera. I probably had to wait a little time on that because that was more of a remote flight. I didn't meet any other GOs on the flight, which is strange. But yeah, I just remember looking out the window, and that was the impact hit me that I'm going to go work on this island for 9 months. So Luther, I think I was getting arriving right when they were opening up the village. So
Yeah, it looks like you landed into an all-star team. You got Darwin at
yes,
Circus, Teach and Annie are here, Fergie's here. I mean, boy, what a team, huh?
it was, and I quickly realized that. I walked in, obviously never having experienced this before, but just the way people talked about Ye, you could see how many people followed him. So yeah, I really quickly realized I was working with really incredible people. So very, very thankful for that.
And how did your first week go there?
The first week, because we were there prior to it opening, was nice. I think that's unique for if you get that opportunity because the guests haven't arrived. You get more team bonding time. We got the time to connect with each other. We did some beach parties out there. It actually happened to be my birthday. So we're in November. I know that. And the guests haven't arrived and they did a fun thing where they put a plastic bag over me and I think his name was Steve. He was a chief of sports opening up that village. He didn't stay there, but he left. But they did like a birthday cake over my head. So I have eggs cracked over my head and cake mix and all this
Well,
stuff.
at least they put a bag on you because the way
They
I've seen it
did.
done in Scuba, when you reach 100 dives in Club Med and Scuba, they make the cake on you. No, no, no safety of the bag. But so
Oh,
get off easy, my friend.
right, right. So nice time to all connect, get to know each other. And I think that was my first realization. I had never worked with people from around the world, other countries, other languages. There must have been 30, 40 different countries represented there. So that was so interesting to me. Yeah.
Now, how was your roller skating prowess before Club Med, Laura? Were you a
I
good skater?
I claim to be, yes, I had been roller skating since first grade. That's what
Oh, okay.
I
So
was the
what happened?
skater.
What happened in Starlight Express then? Okay.
Starlight Express was what happened. And that was a rehearsal night. We got paired up with another GO to do if any for anybody who's been in that show, there's a scene where you're a train and there's ramps off the side of the stage and you're literally going around the stage. Well, what happened is we were in rehearsal and Raj had never seen roller skates ever before, he said. He did a great job, but he missed the ramps. So I am holding on to him, and that momentum just we might have gotten one skate on the ramp. I don't know. We got air, and the next thing I know, people are screaming in French around me, and I'm looking
Sorry,
straight up at the
I'm
ceiling.
trying to laugh off away from the microphone, but so they put a guy who's never seen skates or been on skates as your
Never.
partner, and you're holding hands, and okay, got it. So, but
We're actually, if it's a front and a back, so I'm holding on to
oh,
like his hips. So
okay, please say no one was hurt because, this is,
No,
or too badly.
Rush
Okay.
was fine. I have a scar. I do have a scar on my knee to this day
Okay.
from that, but I was okay.
I have a
That is,
scar. I have a scar too from my time in Club Med, but not roller skating. But I like it because it reminds me of my time there when I look at it.
yes, yes. So great experience, great show. That was just phenomenal how they put that all together. So
All right, true or false, Laura? You are a huge Jimmy Buffett fan.
true, true, true. Yes.
Okay, so what happened down there at Governor's Harbor?
Governor's Harbor, what happened is my roommate, Angie, I hope she's listening to this today. We switched roles. So she said, hey, could you take something else and I'll take the excursion up to Governor's Harbor that day. So I did her a favor. We ended up switching. And it turns out Jimmy Buffett was known for having a seaplane, and his seaplane, they had to make an emergency landing. And he was literally walking on the road as the excursion with Angie was going up to Governor's Harbor. And they helped him. They had to radio for some help. The taxi driver had to get Jimmy Buffett some assistance there, get him to a phone. But she did tell me that she told Jimmy what a huge fan I was, and I would be sad to not have seen him that day. But
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'm sorry about that.
I know that's okay. But she did communicate to him, so that was nice. Hopefully, he
Well, big rest in peace, Jimmy.
rest in peace. Yes,
Yes.
yes,
This season also had some, I wouldn't say scary, but I think housekeeping found a snake under your bed at one point.
they did. My roommate Angie again. I come in from a long day, and she is just sitting on the bed with this look. She's like, I don't know if I should tell you. And then all these things go through your mind, and you're like, okay, I what happened? She's like, I don't think I should tell you. Finally, I got it out of her, and she said, "Housekeeping found it wasn't a small snake. It was a gig. It was a pretty substantial snake under the bed because around those where we lived as GOs, if you've been to Eleuthera, it's all jungle around you. So he had found a nice place under my bed. I don't
Oh,
know.
that's very kind of the snake. Okay.
Right, right. I don't know how long he had been there or if he had. I'm so tired at night. Who knows if he had just slithered right over me and asleep? I don't know. But
Speaking of nighttime, what is Johnny's? Was Johnny a bar?
and I need to correct that. It came to
Oh,
my mind finally.
yeah,
Ronnie's. I told you Johnny's. I
Ronnie's.
apologize.
Okay, Ronnie's.
It's
Yes, Ronnie's I've heard of. Yes. Okay.
Ronnie's. So anybody who's been to Eleuthera, our listeners, yes, should that probably was the go-to place. So it was down by the pier other side, and that's where our connection with the local staff was so strong. I mean, they would help us. They'd us to go to Ronnie's tonight, and one of them would drive one of the cars down there, and we'd get Yay, what wonderful manager that he was, did give us some time to connect. So yes, it was a bar restaurant where the locals hang out. So
In my episode about Bastille Day, about my first season, I was lost, didn't know what it was. Did you know
oh
what
yeah.
Bastille Day was when you were making, when the scuba team was making a float for the race? Did you have any idea?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay.
Sorry. I know. Sorry, my friend's friend. Right. Did not know. So again, we're learning all these cultural traditions that had expanding our view of what the world was like. So did not know, but exciting thing to do with the raft race.
Now, were you unofficially? I know you were thinking about getting your scuba instructors, right? So did the scuba team make you unofficially part of the scuba team while you were there?
Yes, they did. They
Okay.
did. I was very fortunate. I got to be part of that team. They gave me as a dive master. I worked with the students, got the best experience I could imagine. So, and they let me do the excursions as well up to Governor's Harbor. So I did get those opportunities too. But yes, I got great experience. We even worked with the kids. We had little tanks for them, and they got to scuba dive as well.
Were you planning in your head this season, like in between villages, to go and finish your scuba instructors? Was this always the plan, or is it something you just really wanted to do?
It was always the plan, yes, that I would, and I was clear that I, yeah, obviously have to go back after the season was over and complete my certification for instruction before I could move on to another club as a scuba instructor.
Well, when you're already at dive master, how much longer is it the exams or open water testing? Like how much is it, a week, 5 days? What?
Oh, how much? Well,
Yeah,
you have to have 100 dives as a dive master, and that I logged every dive while I was working at Eleuthera. So
you did. Okay.
yes, yeah, yes, you do have to show. I still have those books, the dive books, but I did have to show log dives. The opportunities to go to, yeah, Governor's Harbor also counted. So the time frame when I came back, it really was just taking the class, and they did no. They said you're one of the top prepared people here, and that was due to yes, I had the opportunity to work at Eleuthera.
So the majority thing is that you need to pass from dive master to instructor. You need at least 100 log dives, and then it's not doesn't take much longer after that, right?
Exactly. You enroll in the course that they will you have to demonstrate that you can teach. You have to demonstrate your knowledge in the water through Patty. That was the certification course I was enrolled in. So it took about a week, and then I used the money I earned at Eleuthera. It was about $1,000, and that's in 1994. So it was a substantial amount of
So now you're broke. You got to go back to
yes.
work. Do they propose to you Playa, or had you called Club Med when you were done with your instructors and said, "I'm ready"? What happened there?
What happened there is Ye gave me, he said you can pick whichever club you like. And that was I appreciated that. I wanted to go to Mexico, Greg. I think I really enjoyed working with our Latino GMs, our Latino GOs, and I thought Mexico, being from California, be a nice place to go. So that was arranged before. And then the timing worked out that Playa closes too. I came there when the club was opening up. So I had the time to finish my instruction, had a little time at home, and then I went off to Playa.
Okay, a couple of things because I worked in Playa, but not in Eleuthera,
Yes.
but I have worked in the Bahamas. Now, when I was in Playa, very famous Japanese scuba chief called the water that they would scuba dive in the miso soup. So here you are going
Oh,
from the crystal blue aquiline waters of the Bahamas to Playa. Visibility like wasn't great, right? So
no. That's one of those hindsight things that, you have to go with the choice you made. The visibility was not great at Playa. It wasn't an established diving village. We didn't have excursions. We really just taught lessons out there. So yes, should I've done Turks and Caicos? I could have gone to Tahiti.
no, you did the right thing. No, you did the right thing by
You do the right
Playa
thing.
because
Right.
did you like Playa? Did you love Playa?
I love Playa. Yes, yes. And I was looking for it seemed like a good place as a new instructor to go as well because it was lessons, it was a little bit more lower key. But yeah, I love the staff there again. And that was Kenton Smith was our chef de village.
And you
Different
also,
dynamic.
yeah, and you also, well, lived with my favorite GM of all time, Uncle Larry, right? You would have breakfast with Uncle Larry, correct?
I would. And it's I would because we had to be up and early in the morning. So just to hear that name again on another podcast you had, it was so neat to hear that because it brought back great memories. We'd have breakfast together. He had lots of good words of wisdom for me. I just an interesting person all around, and just dynamic to the entire team. He'd walk through. You reply. You remember kind of the area by the bar, and that's where everybody hung out there. So very
Yeah.
nice to work with him.
All right, let's go through some of the geos that you were with. Were you with Terry Herbert here, Josh Bernstein, Dan Beeman? Were some of these names familiar to you?
Absolutely. Terry, we still exchange Christmas cards today. Wonderful person. She was our fitness instructor, and always she's beautiful. Always got that lead role in the show. She deserved it because she could dance really good.
So I
And
guess,
Josh was our. Oh, go ahead. That's right.
yeah, no, who was Josh? Josh was at the bar, right? I think.
He was at the bar. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And
Lots of good comedy.
even after that season, you guys went to visit the Club Med archaeological ruins, right? The villages.
We did. We took a bus. I went independently and we met up in Mexico City with all of our friend the Geos that were there in Mexico City, and then we went from there and saw the archaeological villages. Just really interesting. Stayed in those villas. Club Med was very generous to us. We didn't have to spend anything. They comped all of that for us. So
I see you worked with one of my favorite choreographers, John Rodriguez. Rest in peace.
John, yes,
What kind
yes.
of shows was he putting on over there? Do you recall?
He did Rocky Horror Picture Show for us. So John just there was everything was perfectly done. Such a strive for excellence person. So the Rocky Horror Picture Show stands out. And I honestly had not seen the movie before I went to Playa. So it was all new to me as this show was being rehearsed. Like we didn't.
Same. Yeah, I had never seen it before ever and didn't know what it was going
Yeah.
on. Okay.
Yeah. I what with the toilet paper, we're gonna do what? We have no idea. So
But you did like doing
um
the time warp, that I don't know if it was a
yes.
closing number of that show, but you like time warp, I guess was your favorite part of that show, right?
My favorite. If I could take back time, do one scene, one thing from Club Med again, it was being on the stage for Time Warp.
Well,
Yeah.
GMs are throwing toilet paper rolls at your head.
Exactly.
Okay. God, I missed that. Okay.
So fun. But John did every show he did, he just hit it with excellence and just a dynamic, fun person to work with. May he
Yeah.
rest in peace. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Now in Eleuthera, you had a family village. Now you're in a singles village. Yet I'm confused about this part you wrote in your note about a
Oh,
group of senior citizens. So what were senior citizens doing at Playa? Just there to cut loose, have some fun?
they were. We had a wide variety range of ages. And I don't know. I think they were a group together that particular week. I had some senior citizens, and then as everybody knows, we had to do those skits or something, an interaction night with a GM. So you had to get together a group, get a theme. At dinner time, it was presented. I can't exactly remember how, but with that group, I came up with the idea of Cocoon, and we collected some coconuts. And I had them from the scene in the movie all jump in the pool because in the movie, when they jump in the pool with these, I think they were spheres of some sort, it made them younger again in the movie. That's we reenacted that one, and they loved it. It was fun. Yeah.
And I guess you had your share of margarita walks and margarita rides and margarita kayaks this season too, right?
Oh yes, yes. That was I got the opportunity to do the walk. Not the We brought the horses up there, I believe, and Xavier, he worked with the kayaks coming over, but I did the walk. Dan, I want to say Dan Beeman was the one who really kind of led that group. It was a really fun time. Great pictures from that. The
Uh,
walk home, people stumbled all the way back.
yeah, yeah. It happens. Got hurt. No one got hurt though. That's the important thing.
No, no, they were all happy. Just a great opportunity to go somewhere else. That restaurant was private from Club Med, but they let us come up for that whole excursion of the tequila walk. So margaritas and tequila. Yeah.
You have any other Playa Blanca memories you wanted to share?
With Playa, sorry, I'm sorry. I I really enjoyed just the interaction at the scuba team that we had. We had a great time, great camaraderie out there, lots of fun joking around.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
Laura. Who is your chief of scuba there?
It was Steve.
Not Steve
I
O.
want No, I never worked with Steve-O, and I've got a picture of the scuba team. We're all cheering, and I want to say, and Steve, I apologize if you're, I want to say it's Steve,
Okay,
and I'm not going to be able to pull up the last name. My
no
apologies,
problem.
but
No problem. Maybe
right,
he'll comment on the photo. That's what
right.
happens. So again, as always, seasoners, if you want to see Laura's photos from her time at Club Med, please head on over to the My First Season Facebook page and you can see all her amazing photos of a beautiful village, in the early 90s, Eleuthera, which everyone who worked there, was so sad when it closed. And there are some ex-GOs that still go visit that place every year, every second year, just because they love going back.
Right, right. I would love to go back and see, especially the beach at Eleuthera. I think that is nothing has matched that. We've traveled all around the world. We live in, California, but that beach at Eleuthera is just that pink sand beach is would be so nice to go back to.
Well, let's jump back to Eleuthera since we're on the topic. You met someone named Alex at the Club
Yeah,
Med. This is one of those small world stories, right? So would you mind sharing this one?
sure, sure. Alex and I met at Club Med, and she actually ended up marrying the baker, Richard Charpentier. But time goes on. She's there for a short period. Some people came and then they were gone. They did 3 months and then they went off somewhere else. So she was there a short period of time, and then we don't stay in contact. I go on to Playa. 2 or 3 more years pass by. I eventually come back to California and I am with my best friend from growing up, and she's getting married, and we're going to her wedding expo. So we're walking through this convention center, and I just hear Laura, just as a scream, Laura. I turn around, and it is Alex. So Alex comes running at me full force, and say, oh my gosh, we haven't seen each other from Eleuthera, and we do a little catch up. And then my friend says, well, Alex is my wedding coordinator. So, so it's just as what are the chances of that? So Alex was her wedding coordinator at the reception where she held her reception. So we got this opportunity to reconnect where we never would have, you would have just gone on with life and probably just never have connected with each other. So unfortunately, also she sadly passed away from lung cancer, and that's 8 years ago. So I'm glad I got that chance to reconnect with her and be able to experience life with her again. But prayers for her and her family. Yeah. So
And you also had another memory or a special encounter. Like I'm talking about Kendra.
yes.
Okay, if you tell everyone this, another small world story.
It's another small world. Kendra, she's in one of the pictures. She at UCSB when I was in college, you go through sorority rush. Well, the two houses I picked, you have someone sponsor you. So Kendra sponsored me it was the Theta House, and I think I was sophomore in college. So I ended up picking DG. Another Heinz. It all works out fine, but I did not pick her house. And we really go through college, don't connect with each other again. I didn't go to Club Med till 2 years. I worked for a couple of years, land in Eleuthera, and this is part of that opening week. I'm right down by the theater. I come walking down and she just says, Laura, do you remember me? I was the one who sponsored you at sorority rush at UCSB. So again, just these connections that hopefully make you realize that you're on the right track. But it was so neat to see her again. Funny thing with her is we did resemble each other, but I could. She was in charge of the dance choreography. So some nights she'd be up there doing her amazing dancing, and the next day I at the snorkel shack guests would come up and say, you did such a great job at that dance. And I had to say, it wasn't me. But sometimes I did take just take it, the
Hey,
compliments.
someone else is going to if you don't, right?
So we got mistaken for each other a lot, but it was a neat connection to have that. Yes, yes.
You also have another great story about the late great Jim Henry. If so, there are a
Right.
lot of people out there who love worked with Jim Henry. Would you mind sharing this story?
Absolutely. Yes. Jim Henry, his family live very close to us. Our unbeknownst to me, you go through life and I'm the room mom and talking with parents about things, but you just don't say, and by the way, I worked at Clement 94, 95. It never really came up. So our sons were the same age, same grade, different classes, but I had the chance to hear about who they were, and unfortunately, they he was a big presence in the baseball, our Little League baseball teams. Big presence, always loved by everybody, and I'm sure that same admiration was what he had in Club Med. It wasn't until his passing that I learned he had been a an enormous and well loved person at in Club Med for quite some years. So unfortunately never got that chance to talk with him, but I was able to catch up with his wife who, sharing all the names of the people he knew. Yeah.
Oh, great story.
Yeah. So there is a memory, an award in his honor too, for all of the people listening who knew him. There is a baseball award. They do have a memorial award for him as well.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good. The name will live on then. Good.
Right.
Laura, I'm looking at another one of your pictures. Now, there were a few of you Geos from Playa went to a wedding, right? So
We did.
Jason, who's been on the podcast, he got married to Kristen, correct?
Kristen,
And
yes.
a couple of you, or a lot of you, went out for the wedding, right?
We did. So I submitted that picture. It was so fun to see, a couple that Alex also had married Richard. So it was neat to see these couples move out of that and into marriage. It was fun to reconnect with everybody. Our it's Hector and Armando came up from Mexico, and Josh was there, and just lots of people came. Big Ed, I think he's in that picture too. Dan. So what a fun wedding. We were so blessed to be there, be part of that. And I actually have lost track of Jason and Kristen. I connected with them when I moved to California, probably about 25 years ago. And so hopefully they're listening. And yeah, we really enjoyed attending your wedding. So
Is there anyone we haven't mentioned yet? Like, I like to do shout outs. You've already mentioned a lot of names, but I don't want to leave anyone out. Is there anyone that we forgot?
sure, sure. I do, if I could kind of walk through
Sure.
my memory, I just was writing everything down that I could. And I've talked about Terry. I'd like to shout out to Angie, Roz. I talked about Kendra. Sergio was tennis. See if I could see I think I can remember what their jobs were too. Patrick was the animation at Eleuthera. We had Annie and Teach. We had Banked was on the scuba team. My friends Kara and Tracy came out for a short time to work there. We had Alex and Richard. I remember Oog. He was one of the bakers as well. Stephanie and Fergie. I did love listening to his session as well. But Fergie was a main person there, and Darwin. Wonderful experience to work with him. There was Andrew from Dominican Republic, and just a shout out to Chef Ye. He really did. So he made an impact. To manage that club as well as he did. We were all respected. We all had a wonderful synergy. So that was a great opportunity there. At Playa, I have Yara, there's Lori and Jenny, there was Deja on the scuba team, Steve, Dan, Armando and Hector, those names have to go together. They were a great pair. Kristen, Jason, Xavier, and Alex and John. So that's all I could. And I apologize if I have missed anybody's name, but please know
Let's
you're in
not.
my pictures.
Yes. Let's not forget Zach, Josh, and Jackie, unless they don't want to be mentioned. But that's up to you.
Oh,
Totally up to you, Laura.
yes.
Totally up to you.
You're right. And my husband, Dan, who has
Okay.
heard every single Love Med story and just smiles and
And doesn't roll his eyes anymore.
doesn't roll his eyes anymore. Very, very appreciative of that. So yes, thank you to my wonderful family. So Dan for being very patient, but and listening to those stories. But we've kind of kept that adventure in our family. We've been able to travel and do those types of things too with the kids.
Have you all gone to a Club Med yet?
That I tried to push for it a little bit. No, to
Okay.
answer your question, we haven't.
Okay.
And I think part of me just wants to keep those memories as my memory. There's a
Yeah.
part of you those are your memories from that. So yeah.
Yeah. Understood. Well, you got Zach. I see Zach's at San Diego State and Josh is at University of Utah, right? Well,
He
congrats.
is, yes.
Congrats. That's good. Great.
And then Jackie's going into senior year. So they've all heard stories and love hearing those two, but they're all on great tracks. I don't know. We've also encouraged if you need to take you want to take a little bit of a time out here and go do some adventure travel, go work somewhere. They know they have those options. And I really do credit having that time that I did then to being able to be who I am today. I think it's you can't get that back at this age now. No, I can't go do this.
Yes. There's nothing like a Jet2 holiday. Okay, now
Right.
that's an inside joke for anyone who's on TikTok. Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. Oh, all right. Do you ever find yourself missing anything about working back at Club Med? Or do you hear a
What
song
did
in
I
the grocery
miss?
store, like a crazy song you used to listen to, and you went, oh no, I'm about to dance in the produce section. Does that ever
I
happen?
know. I do miss what I miss about the Club Med and what's so positive is just the authenticity of the people. Working with being able to get to connect with people where you don't have you're not evaluated based on, your personal possessions or any type of material things. We were just there having a great time working with people of all different backgrounds. I miss those connections. And then I miss the actual type of work. So even going through this, Greg, I've kind of made some considerations that maybe I need to segue back, make a move back into hospitality because it was something that came easy to me and I really enjoyed working with it. And finally, yeah, I missed the crazy signs.
What?
And yes, I did.
Well, did you have a
It was
favorite? Did you have a favorite one or no?
well just hands up.
Oh, Laura,
The
you were doing so
typical.
well there. No, I'm kidding.
I was
Okay.
doing well.
No, no,
I was
it's even on my.
yeah.
I have it on my iPod. I still have that song, even though I tell everyone I don't like it. It's on my iPod when I go running. So there.
Me too. When I go on the walk and just hearing those first notes and you'd be out and about and that was your cue, you got to get on stage. It's crazy sign time. And, I loved it. I know some people were kind of like,
Well,
don't feel
yeah,
like doing it.
yeah, it's not your most energetic one, or it's no agadoo, but
Right.
it's one of the first ones you're taught, right? So, and your
It
first
is. It
season, so
is.
it'll always stay with you.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Yeah.
speaking of
Yeah.
staying with you, are you like me? Do you still dream about? I just had one last night. Do you still dream about your time in Club Med, or you're back there working at Club Med, or not at all?
I have not. I don't, I think I'm so exhausted, but I do have
Okay.
at night, I don't drink, but I do have lots of, I will tell you though, what I do is pull up those memories. Those experiences are so positive. They're so useful in times that you may, just in stressful situations or times when you're really struggling through things, you pull that up and you can think back to just it can be as simple as being on that beach in Eleuthera and watching the sunrise, being at a sunset and watching that at Playa and just those experiences. They're all little snapshots in your brain. So yeah, I do reflect a lot back on that.
Nice. Laura, I'm looking at the photos you sent me, and I see one that looks like a hand drawing of some GMs did for a dive. Can you mind telling me about this so people, when they go over to the photos on my first season Facebook page, know what they're looking at?
Sure, sure. That photo is a picture of a card that I want to say they were my first dive class that I had because now I had my certification and they were my first students. So they took the time, if you see on the website too, whoever the amazing artist who did that, make me a personal card, which I saved. I had it with my photos. And what I did with the students, which I don't know if I came up with it, I probably copied it from someone, but it was a water clap. And that's the way I had the students all just kind of be proud of themselves. We'd say, hey, give them a water clap. So you're slapping the water. But they made a card with that. They also somehow got a piece of plywood at the time. I mean, they're on vacation and they found a big piece of plywood and paint. And they also painted a thank you, like Miss Patty course, thank you, Laura. And they all had their put their signatures on it. So I thought, my gosh, these people are, these guests are on vacation. They took the time to thank me for the class. I hope they're still diving today, but very grateful. And they were all from Montreal.
Tough getting
So
that plywood through customs at all?
I they had to find, I don't know where
Okay.
to, and that's, I didn't bring it home. I know that was one. I remember looking at it and just saying, I took a picture of it. I did that, but couldn't, it had to stay. So we don't know where it ended up today.
Okay. Well, another part of the show is ask about celebs. You met a few
Yeah.
there: John Stossel, David Robinson from the NBA, the drummer from Cars, Carol Potter, who's Brenda's mom, and 90210, Lenny Kravitz. So a few
Yeah.
people don't actually or never got the chance to meet Lenny when he was in the Bahamas, but you did, right? So that's
I did. It was more of a pass by.
a
I
pass
won't
by.
credit
Hey,
myself.
well, heck, most people would be happy for the pass by, right?
We did. And at Eleuthera, he had a festival, a music festival there. And Patrick, who was our animation, he had us go and we did some dance for it. It was called the Pineapple Festival. That's what I think I remember. But Lenny Kravitz, that was his music festival that he would do in Eleuthera. And he would be spotted through the club quite frequently. He had a recording studio, not on Eleuthera. He would come there often. I think he had a house
So
there
you'd always
too.
have a pack of women following him through the village, right? Is what you're saying? No,
Yes,
okay.
exactly. The one with Brett, this one's interesting. Carol Potter, I looked up her name. We were out at the Scuba Shack talking. It was just me and a couple other of the GOs. And we're just talking casually as we're supposed to do, engaging with the GMs. And all of a sudden, I'm the one, and I blurt out, "Oh my gosh, you're Brenda's mom!" And so 90210 at this time, it's 94, is the big show. Did you have it in Canada as
Oh
well?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
You did.
remember that. I
Okay.
remember that show was pretty big. Yes.
I should, yeah, that we got to watch that, but I just caught her off guard and she laughed and she said, "Don't tell anybody." She pulls her hat over her and she said, "I really want to be here. Just, they come there and they just want a vacation." So she kind of laughed that I recognized her. I said, "I won't tell anybody. It's our secret." So, so she just enjoyed being anonymous for vacation. The drummer of the Cars was on my sunset cruise, and I don't know. I was trying to. The poor guy, he got bopped on the head with the cabinet that we're trying to get the snorkel gear out of. But very nice man, there with his family again. Very humble, not
That's
trying
the
to.
risk you take when you go on the Sunset Cruise. I'm sorry, but that
Right.
that happens.
I made sure he was okay. And finally, John Stossel. Now he came there and was just this top-notch sailor. And he came up, they get, sports awards nights. He would always get the sailing awards. So very humble again. But it was funny because all the women from New York were just buzzing. It's like John Stossel's here, John Stossel's here. So
Okay, so
love his show.
unlike most people, he actually knew how to sail. Was not saying
Yes.
he knew how to sail, and then
No,
but
he
it okay.
was a top sailor. Yes.
Right. Excellent. Did David Robinson play basketball with the GOs at all, or no? Or he just
I don't think so. Yeah. I not sure. That one I just knew the name, but yeah, didn't have much interaction there.
all
But
right.
that was
Awesome.
right. All the stars I got to know. So
Are you ready for your last question, Laura? The
I
biggie.
am. That's
Are,
the biggie. Yeah.
are you happy that you did it? Are you happy that you took the plunge, went on that interview with Steve-O?
Absolutely. It Working at Club Med has been, I won't say the most because my family and everything is absolutely a top priority, but it has been a top contributor to my life, giving me skills for work that I probably never would have had if I didn't get this opportunity to do that. At the time you think of that theory of regret. Will I regret this if I don't do this? Because it's real easy to just sit there and go, I don't want to, what if something happens and it's a lot to change? It's a lot. Do I go out to this island and work? Kind of work with that mindset of, will I regret this if I don't? And the answer was yes. So I did it. Never looked back. So yes, very, very happy with this experience. The main thing is the people interaction, being able to meet all of these people was such a blessing and learn about all their backgrounds too.
Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing those memories with us here today.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'd
And
like to, oh, go
yes,
ahead.
no, no, you go ahead.
It would be fun hypothetically. And I did just, I want to play, I just watched Tony Vitel's, I started it, Life's a Beach, brought back great memories. It's so interesting to just relive those memories. But it would be fun hypothetically to go back and be a Geo for, I could do a day, maybe. Could,
Okay.
could you make it through a day? I don't
Well,
know.
yeah. Well, luckily for me, I've been running this whole time, so I think my legs could handle it. Yeah, for sure. I don't know about the late night rehearsal, but
Right.
I could definitely do the day. I think, but yeah, no, we all there have been a few that have gone and done it, and they're still there, right? So hats off to them. They're either smarter than you and I, Laura, or I don't know, maybe they tapped into something. I don't maybe we should be doing the same thing. Or well, there's always reunions, right? Like I've been to two reunions. I don't know if you've gone
Oh,
yet, but they're always a blast. You could always consider that,
I
later
will
on.
look into those. Yes, never been
Nice.
to a reunion. So, okay,
They're a
next.
lot of fun.
I can imagine. Yes, yes. Wonderful.
Well, thanks so much again, Laura, for for saying yes when I reached out to you, because I always know how that's going to go. It's usually no, thank you, Greg. But so thank you for being one of the few that say
Oh,
yes.
absolutely. This is an honor. This is an honor. This is
It's all
to be
mine.
part of this. So,
Thank you.
thank you for doing all of this for us too.
Thank you.
Yes.
And make sure everyone, you go to my first season Facebook page and check out Laura's amazing photos from a very special time in her life. We will see you all next week. Would you like to say goodbye to our listeners, Laura?
Goodbye, everybody. It's such great memories, listeners who have been with me at clubs or listeners who haven't. This is a great, great thing to be a part of. So wish you all the best.
Laura Siebert, everyone. We'll see you all next week. Bye.